Conrad Murray was interviewed by the LAPD 2 days after Michael Jackson's death. This is the timeline he provided regarding the drugs he says he gave the singer that night. 1:30 a.m., Murray gives Jackson a 10-milligram tablet of Valium. 2 a.m., Murray injects Jackson with 2 milligrams of lorazepam intravenously. 3 a.m., Murray gives Jackson 2 milligrams of midazolam, also via IV. 5 a.m., Jackson's still awake, and Murray gives him 2 more milligrams of lorazepam. 7:30 a.m., Murray gives Jackson an additional 2 milligrams of midazolam. By 10:40 a.m., after 9 hours of trying to help Jackson go to sleep, Murray gives him 25 milligrams of propofol. Where Dr. Murray was from 10:40 until noon, when the coroner's report says Jackson was found unresponsive, is unclear.
That timeline is so fuzzy and gray inside this courtroom. I don't know how it's ultimately going to play out, but there are different times it gets very confusing. Alan Duke, CNN producers inside the courthouse, getting ready to go in the courtroom. Alan, today we expect to hear from investigators who are inside doing searches. What exactly did they find in terms of evidence of propofol, and when did they find it?
Well, there was an open bottle of propofol sitting on the floor next to the bed. And, of course, eventually, after interviewing Dr. Murray, they found a whole bag in the closet where the large dressing closet adjacent to the bedroom. They found a syringe, a needle that apparently had been used lying near the bed. They found the IV bags and all of that. We'll hear that from a coroner's investigator. Also, we'll hear from the LA police about that interview that we were just hearing about. Lieutenant Orlando Martinez, the LAPD detective who interviewed Dr. Conrad Murray 2 days after Jackson's death, will play audio clips. That could come today or that could come tomorrow, but we're entering this investigator phase, sort of, as Ted said, the CSI phase, as opposed to yesterday's, the Conrad's Angels phase, if this were a television channel.
Yeah, exactly.
But
Alan, let me ask you this about the investigation.
We're switching channels.
Yeah, I'm wondering about the timeline, though, because doesn't Murray give one timeline that's like totally off and uncorroborated by any of the cell phone records and everything else? Where exactly does this timeline stand?
He gave a timeline saying that he discovered Michael had problems at 11 a.m. We know it was more like noon. And that could be because he just misspoke in the police interview, but it does confuse things. Does that mean all of these other times were off? He said at about 10:40 was the last time and only time that day. He gave him 25 milliliters of propofol. That timing is very important because right after he did that, he went and did email. In fact, ironically, one of the emails he sent was to a British insurance agent, assuring that insurance agent that Michael Jackson was in good health.
Wow. Alan Duke inside the courthouse. I know you got to get your seat inside the courtroom. Thanks so much, Alan. Appreciate it. Much more straight ahead. We're about 15 minutes away from live testimony. In the meantime, several members of Michael Jackson's family are in Wales right now for a tribute concert to Michael Jackson. We're going to find out what his brothers are saying.
What would you say for Michael today? Jermaine, what would you say?
I think there's no such thing as the timing is appropriate for it, because what we're doing is we're remembering the brighter side of our brother. And that's a memory that we hold inside of us, a joyful moment for us. And so that's the way I look at it. I mean, I respect all the people who will not participate. I respect their decision. They have the right.
I think it's been going extremely well, you know, and I don't want to talk about anything involving the trial because I don't want to influence anyone in any way. But it's been tremendously difficult for the entire family.
It's almost starting over again, like from day one, and that's painful.
Reliving it.
Yes.
In the midst of the Conrad Murray trial is the Michael Jackson Forever tribute concert. It's Saturday in Wales. Members of the Jackson family announced the concert in July. Christina Aguilera, CeeLo Green, Leona Lewis are among the artists who will perform, but the concert has somewhat divided the family. Catherine, LaToya, Marlon, Tito, and Jackie support it. Jermaine and Randy are against it because it's during the trial. But it looks like the show will go on. AJ Hammer, Corrine Winter from Showbiz Tonight, with us from L.A. AJ, what exactly is the status of this concert, and what sort of impact does it, I mean, was it purposely planned to happen during this time of the trial, or is this some sort of coincidence here?
Well, yeah, I think that's what a lot of people are thinking, that, wow, this is a great distraction from the trial. They must have planned this so it would be a way to remind people of Michael Jackson's music and the legacy that they really want Michael remembered for, not for the criminal trial of the man who is accused of being involved in the death of Michael while that's going on. But no, it wasn't planned that way. Remember, the trial was supposed to get on much earlier than it actually did, and it just sort of timed out that way. For a lot of people, the timing is unfortunate. But we do have some big breaking news on the concert in Wales that's taking place this weekend. The Black Eyed Peas have pulled out. Now, they are one of the headlining acts. They're really one of the main draws of this concert, and Showbiz Tonight has confirmed that the Black Eyed Peas are now not going to be a part of it. There were some rumblings earlier in the week that they were going to pull out, and they in fact have. We've reached out to the Black Eyed Peas for a statement. They're not saying anything other than confirming that they're not going to be a part of the show. The concert promoter is saying this: due to unavoidable circumstances, the Black Eyed Peas will be unable to perform at this Saturday's Michael Jackson Forever event. So obviously there's going to be a lot of speculation until the Peas speak out as to why they're not doing the concert, as to why they're not doing the concert. A lot of people are going to surmise maybe they didn't want to be a part of something that was controversial. Quite frankly, I'm reading a lot online and going around and saying, are there really people who aren't going to buy Black Eyed Peas records or aren't going to attend Black Eyed Peas concerts if they perform at the Michael Jackson tribute concert? I'm not seeing a whole lot of that right now. I also think the fact that you have some major artists and some friends of Michael Jackson, like Smokey Robinson, who's going to be performing along with Gladys Knight. They're going to do the Michael Jackson side, a Garrett hit, I Just Can't Stop Loving You, at the concert on Saturday. The fact that Smokey is a part of this thing. Smokey and Michael were very close. I think that's a huge vote of confidence. So I have a feeling that all of this controversy will ultimately be for naught, but I am very interested to see why the Peas have pulled out.
AJ, did you just say, I got a feeling? I thought the Black Eyed Peas weren't going to be in the concert.
Yeah, thank you.
There we go. Thank you. See, I just want to show people I'm hip, AJ. Corrine Winter, has this concert, and you know, the Jackson family, you know, everyone doesn't have to see eye to eye on everything, but the fact that, you know, this trial, we know the impact the Jackson family has inside that courtroom, and for this concert to go on, the division within the Jackson family, is that any way going to seep, you think, into the courtroom at all?
Absolutely not. You know, when I spoke with Jermaine, he said, look, we're like any other family, Vinny. We don't see eye to eye on everything. This is one project, though, I don't want to be a part of. You know, talk about the timing with the trial, but above and beyond that, Jermaine says that the best way to honor Michael's memory, to pay tribute to him, is to be there front and center every day in that courtroom, and that's what he plans on doing. That's what Randy plans on doing. And we didn't mention Janet Jackson. She hasn't been as vocal as her brother Jermaine, but Jermaine's camp confirmed with me that Janet is not going to be part of this ticket, and that she feels that the timing of this is not right, and that, you know, this concert has no place happening right now. So again, very, very strong feelings regarding this, but you know, they're not seeing eye to eye on this. You mentioned the family presence. I also talked a little bit about that with Jermaine's camp, and you know, Jermaine wasn't in court yesterday. It seems like, you know, less family members are showing up. They say that has in no way reflects their support. It's just really hard on the family right now to sit through and endure the really, really graphic testimony.
Jane Velez Mitchell is with us also in Los Angeles. And Jane, Corrine mentioned Janet Jackson. And we know out there at the courthouse, she is the star outside the courthouse. She's the star inside the courtroom. I think the Jackson family knows that. And her impact on this trial, I think, is measurable. Absolutely measurable when she's sitting there and that jury has to see that Janet Jackson is there for Michael.
Oh, absolutely. And you can tell when she walks into court, the way the crowd reacts. Obviously, it peaks when Janet steps out of that car. She is a superstar in her own right. And getting back to this concert, who knows? But my observation is that it could possibly be that people are reacting to the fact that it seems a little cobbled together. And you have kind of a mishmash of people. LaToya is doing her first performance, a live performance in more than 20 years, according to some published reports. And then you have Tito, Jackie, and Marlon performing. And you have to wonder, is this an attempt by Catherine or some others in the family to give attention to some of the siblings of Michael Jackson who may not be beneficiaries of the estate? Remember, the estate, the primary beneficiaries are Catherine and the children, Prince, Paris, and Blanket. So where does that leave the rest of the Jackson siblings who also have to survive and function? So maybe this is Catherine's way of trying to spread the wealth a little bit and say, we're going to give attention to LaToya and Marlon and Jackie and Tito, but other people might be saying, maybe this isn't good timing, maybe this isn't the way to do it.
AJ, how about, you know, I'm talking about presence inside the court. Michael Jackson, the biggest star, had lots of friends out there in L.A. Do you expect any other celebrities outside of the Jackson family to show up at court, have one of those seats, show their support for Michael Jackson and the prosecution in this case? Or is this just kind of like off limits?
Yeah, it's interesting because it's so controversial, and I was wondering myself if we would see any of Michael Jackson's celebrity supporters showing up. We haven't so far. I'm kind of tending to doubt it at this point. Maybe as we get close to a verdict, maybe some will start showing up. But celebrities have been surprisingly quiet on Twitter about this. We're not seeing a lot of A-list celebrities who are speaking out. We're getting some comments from celebrities who you wouldn't otherwise hear from, and they're drawing attention to themselves by tweeting and writing on Facebook and other places about their feelings about the MJ trial. But no, they're being pretty quiet, and it's a little suspicious to me to perhaps suggest they don't want to touch it because of the controversial nature of this particular trial.
Absolutely. Let's take a look at what's happening inside the courtroom, folks. Are you missing anything? No, there it is. The Great Seal of the state of California. That means the jury's not yet quite inside the courtroom. When they do return, we'll take you in there live. In the meantime, we're just minutes away from the start of live testimony. We'll take you in the courtroom as soon as the jury is brought in and the camera is pulled out. Day 7 in the trial of the man accused of killing Michael Jackson.
Elmo, what does STEM mean?
Oh, that's hard. What does STEM mean?
Well, remember, Elmo, it's science, technology, engineering, and the M's the easy one.
Math.
There you go.
Elmo, do you like math?
Yeah, Elmo loves math.
You like math?
Yeah, because Elmo likes to count.
Well, can you count for me a little?
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20.
Is math fun?
Yeah, math is a lot of fun because you add things. You can use it when you're cooking.
But
also, like,
you know,
if you're going to use 2 eggs or 3 eggs, stuff like that.
why is it important to get kids excited about STEM, about science, technology, engineering, math, and why is Sesame Street trying to make this part of the season this year?
Well, as a nation, we recognize we're falling behind in these areas, and it's always been Sesame Street's tradition to sort of give kids a head start, a leg up. And when you actually boil down the STEM curriculum, right, Elmo, it's perfect for preschoolers because it's about asking questions and investigating and experimenting. Right, and that's how you learn.
Experimenting.
It's a big word, Elmo.
You've learned some words like, I'm told you've learned about amphibian. And balance.
Yeah, and ingredient.
Ingredient.
And liquid. Yeah.
Why are you learning these words?
Because they're really cool words, and it's really fun to learn what they mean.
You also learned engineer. What's an engineer?
Well, that when you build something, you engineer.
So it's creative.
Yeah,
it's not necessarily.
Oh, that's a good word, creative.
Yeah, not necessarily static numbers and math and tables, but something that you're trying to show kids is part of learning and part of life.
It is. It's very physical. STEM is fun. It's physical fun. It's about testing out things, and any question kids have, we encourage parents not to answer the questions that kids have, but explore the answers with their kids together.